Today on the Tiger Basketball Report, we'll review and preview some recent Tiger action. Get ready, fans. The Tiger Basketball Report starts right now. Hello again, fans, and welcome back to the Tiger Basketball Report. I'm your host, Ben Rosenbaum. Towson, busy schedule, picked up a win at UMBC, then a tough loss against the Mount, and then today, on the road against GW. And as always, I'm joined by head coach Diane Richardson. Coach, welcome back.
Thank you.
So let's rewind a little.
Okay.
UMBC game. It was fun. That was a great basketball game as for a fan to watch.
Yeah.
It was back and forth, a lot of great plays, a lot of big plays, exciting. Talk about the way your team handled themselves. It was emotional, a lot of extra stuff going on, a lot of yelling, a couple of pregame ceremonies, and how they kind of just stayed mentally tough and fought through that for the victory.
Yeah, they did, and we started a little slow, which we sometimes do, but they were poised and came back and stuck to our game plan and our scout, and it turned into a good game. And UMBC had some players as well, so. And it's tough when we have these interstate rivalries where some of the players have played with our players. So it makes it an interesting game.
And during that game, I think it really showed that on display was those new pieces, Q Murray, Kiana Jeter. And after the Salle game, I asked Nakaya, how has it been? So many new pieces. How has it been? How have you diagnosed it? We're a few games into the season. You have all these new pieces. Mm-hmm. How is the gelling process going at this point now that they have some game experience? Yeah,
well, and it's been great. It's what we expected as a coaching staff. Going in, we worked on changing the culture and getting the chemistry together early. And I think they respect each other and they respect each other's game. So it makes it a win-win for us.
One of those new pieces, Kiana Jeter, Mello as we call her, and
yes.
That UMBC game, that was a typical her performance, and she did start slow, and to quote Nicole Curtin, our SID, she exploded in the fourth quarter, 20 points out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Talk about her game. She's now 7th in the country in scoring. She's something special.
And she's such a natural basketball player. She knows how to make plays. She knows when we need scoring, and she'll score. But the other thing about her is she's such an unselfish person that she likes to share the ball. And sometimes I have to tell her, that's your shot. Take that shot. But she's really fit in really well with our team, a great team player, and we depend on her to score.
And you talk about that, you depend on her. Is she somebody who, it's almost like the Kobe rules or the Michael Jordan rules, the ball goes through her, she gets a touch every time. Does she have a green light anytime she gets the ball in her hand?
You know what, I'll be honest with you. I've not said she has a green light, but I tell her when she needs to shoot. But again, she's so unselfish that she doesn't look for the ball a touch every time down. She likes setting up her teammates as well. Sometimes she'll make passes and her teammates aren't ready because they know, she can put the ball in the basket. So she's working on that, and the team's working on that as well.
And one of the other new pieces who maybe isn't getting as much praise, but in my eyes has been maybe the most important, because you now have you have a point guard that's managing the game for you and is really controlling the pace of the game. And defensively, we talk about Kiana's steals.
Yeah.
Q's a big part of that because she's so quick.
Yeah.
Talk about what Q's brought to this game so far and to this team and how she's been establishing her role.
Yeah, and I made a comment to her the other day. I knew exactly what I was getting when she came to Towson. I've watched her from, a young age playing in the area, and I know she has that take charge mentality where she can take over a game by orchestrating and managing the game, and she's done that for us every time we turn around. There are games when she passes up scoring because she's getting everybody else involved. So we look forward to that.
And you have all these new pieces, Q and Kiana and Ryan Holder, who we'll get to in a moment. But at the same time, we still have Nakaya Mayo, who was preseason second team, all conference. How has the additions of these new pieces helped her raise her game? I know she was struggling a little bit, injury at the beginning of the season. Now she's healthy, she's back.
Yes.
Struggled at the Mount, but she had a great game at UMBC, great game against LaSalle.
Right. And she's fitting in. She likes it because, everything's not on her shoulders. And so she's starting to have fun now, with all the other pieces put together, and knows that, we can pack a powerful punch with everybody.
And so you beat UMBC, tough loss at the Mount, who we were talking before the game, or before the show, that they just caught fire from 3.
Yeah, they did.
Ryan Holder, though, 19 points. Nakia maybe doesn't have the best game. Ryan is somebody who hasn't had a big scoring output yet until that game.
Right.
Is that what you want from her? And then I have a part 2 to that question.
Well, Ryan is a great on-ball defender. She's great at defense, and she knows angles, and she knows that's her part of the game that we depend on. But at Mount St. Mary's, she saw opportunities to score, and she scored. And mind you, she's got a broke-down finger that's kind of taped up, and she still scored and defended well. So we look for her leadership, on both sides of the court.
So do you feel like there was a struggle? Obviously, Mount was doing what they were doing with the 3 points. And do you feel like there was a struggle for you guys to score the basketball? And, you had Kiana going off and Ryan going off, but then it kind of tapered off. Was it not enough basketball to go around? Something you hear in the NBA all
we
the
were
time
trying to, it was a different style, and we were trying to find our way and, not blaming anything on the referees, but it was the different type of crew that we're used to dealing with. And so things were called a little differently, and I think that kind of shook us a little bit until we had to get ourselves together, in the fourth quarter.
And now taking a look at GW, it's a team, they're 1-5, and it's a deceiving 1-5. They've had a pretty tough go.
Yes, yes.
They've played Maryland, who's ranked. They've played NC State, who's ranked. They've had a tough game against Georgia Tech, and they started off against JMU.
Right.
They had their lone win is a narrow win over Princeton. So when you're playing a team that is 1-5, and they've started with such a tough schedule, how hard is it in the scout to get a read of what they're actually like when they're playing opponents who you hate to say are just so much better than them, but it's a bigger conference. You talk about Maryland, somebody like that.
It's different, and we have to be careful in how we do the scout, because obviously they've had a very tough schedule and tough teams, but they're a tough team themselves, and scrapping and scraping with those teams that they've played, the Power 5 conferences.
Do you have to really commit to what you guys do well in that game? And how much are you saying? I remember hearing before the LaSalle game, Coach Cancer telling the team at practice, don't underestimate this team. They're coming in. They are coming to take one from you. Right. Is it the same thing? Because this is a team who might feel like they're better than their record.
Right. And that's exactly right. We, again, we can't look at the records. We've got to look at the body of work. And that's what we've been working on these last couple of days, and doing what we do best, and then try to stop them as well.
All right. Towson takes on GW tonight at the Charles E. Smith Center at 7 o'clock. I'll have the call for you along with Rashad Christian starting at 6:45 on TowsonTigers.com. For head coach Diane Richardson, I'm Ben Rosenbaum. Thanks for joining us, and as always, go Tigers.